I'm Steve Ferentz from SUNY Polytechnic Institute's Colleges of Nanoscale Science and Engineering here in San Francisco at a U.S. Photovoltaic Manufacturing Consortium Thought Forum entitled Applying Moonshot Thinking to the Commercial and Industrial PV Markets. With me is Min Lee, who is the director of the SunShot initiative, so a perfect place to catch you and get some perspective from you. Talk to me about really some of these solutions that are being talked about here today, as well as really how New York State fits into this, because of course, many of the initiatives now in New York State are, moving this industry forward.
Well, excellent set of questions. So first, let me give some broader perspective. Solar, the cost of solar has been on a very significant decline over the past several years, which has actually been making solar deployments, much more affordable. And so you're seeing dramatic growths of solar all across America in multiple market segments, from the utility to the commercial to the residential segments. And that deployment, gigawatts of solar, and that's representing a very significant increase in jobs across the country, including New York State. And what I'm really excited to see actually in New York State is the REV process, the Reforming Energy Vision process, which is really looking at new ways to design business models that incentivize the existing actors and allow new actors into the energy delivery marketplace. Very exciting development, very forward thought leadership actually from New York State, in that one of the first states in the country to really think through the necessary market mechanisms to enable solar distributed generation to help us move towards a reduced carbon economy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Governor Cuomo, of course, pioneering that REV initiative, which we've heard so much about. A great point. For the average person out there, there's a lot of high-level talk right there, but what does that mean when you move this forward? When will this become so pervasive? When is that inflection point, so to speak?
Well, exactly. So that's really the premise behind the SunShot initiative. When we started planning for it back in 2010, the cost of solar, when you don't factor in the incentives for solar itself, was about 4 times higher than that of conventional energy sources for electricity, broadly across the country. But we all know that all forms of energy in this country have some embedded incentives, some form of either direct or embedded incentives. So we started with the premise that nothing would get adopted at a very large scale unless it was economically competitive. We have to move beyond the early adopters, those of us in society who are fortunate enough to be able to afford, the first of a kind of something. But eventually, as we deploy more, as we learn how to make stuff, in higher volumes, higher quantities, we learn how to make it cheaper. We learn how to make it better, and that's how cost comes down, and that opens up the market to larger segments of our populations, more consumers, more businesses, and we're seeing, we're starting to see that inflection point happen. President Obama spoke earlier this year and said that, every 3 weeks, last year we installed as much solar as we did the entire year of 2008, and I believe it's accelerating to every 2.5 weeks now, and this is a great American growth story.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course the SunShot initiative, a huge part of that. Thank you so much for speaking with us.